Hello, you're watching QPVN News. I'm Anh Tuấn and here's the headlines. President LUONG hosts talks with visiting Brazilian counterpart. The 5th Vietnam-Laos Defense Policy Dialogue held. Efforts to build brands for MUONG ethnic cuisine. On March the 28th, Party General Secretary Tô Lâm met with veterans and revolution contributors and distinguished policy beneficiaries from the Central and Central Highlands regions in Da Nang in commemoration of the 50th anniversary of the liberation of the South and National Reunification Day. After listening to heartfelt opinions from revolutionary veterans and those who have contributed to the country, on behalf of the party and state leaders, General Secretary Tô Lâm respectfully extended his warm regards and best wishes. He highlighted that under the party leadership, the Vietnamese people have demonstrated unity and resilience, achieving remarkable feats in the struggle for national liberation, reunification, and building and safeguarding the socialist fatherland. Party General Secretary Tô Lâm expressed his hope that the revolutionary veterans and those who have contributed to the country will continue to provide valuable insight and wisdom for the glorious revolutionary cause of the party, the people, and their local communities. At the invitation of President LUONG, Brazilian President Lula da Silva is paying a state visit to Vietnam from March the 27th to the 29th. On the morning of March the 28th in Hanoi, President LUONG hosted a state-level welcome ceremony for visiting Brazilian counterparts. After the ceremony, the two sides held talks. This is the second time Brazilian President Lula da Silva has officially visited Vietnam as head of state since 2008. The trip takes place in the context of a strong, substantive and effective development in the two countries' bilateral relations, as evidenced by upgrade of bilateral relationship to a strategic partnership in November 2024. At the talks with President LUONG, the Brazilian president announced that the Brazilian government has decided to join the group of some 70 countries that have recognized Vietnam as a market economy. President LUONG thanked the Brazilian government for recognizing Vietnam's market economy status and its progress in economic innovation and international integration, as it helps strengthen bilateral ties and supports the goal of raising the two-way trade to 15 billion by 2030. The two leaders agreed to further promote collaboration in areas of defense, security, science, technology, clean energy, education, training, culture, sports, and people-to-people exchange, boost negotiations and signing of cooperative agreements to perfect the legal framework, thus facilitating the implementation of the strategic partnership. After the talks, the two leaders witnessed the signing and handover of an action plan for the implementation of the strategic partnership and several bilateral cooperation documents, including a memorandum of understanding on football cooperation between the Vietnam Football Federation and the Brazilian Football Confederation. Also on his visit, Brazilian President met with Party Secretary Tô Lâm, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính, and National Assembly Chairman Trần Thanh Mẫn. On March the 28th in Luang Prabang, Laos, the 5th Vietnam-Laos Defense Policy Dialogue took place. Senior Lieutenant General Hoàng Xuân Chiến, Deputy Minister of National Defense of Vietnam, and Senior Lieutenant General Vông Kham Phomakon, Deputy Minister of National Defense of Laos, co-chaired the dialogue. At the dialogue, the two sides discussed the world and regional situation and issues of mutual concern. They highly appreciated the ASEAN-led mechanisms, affirming their joint efforts to actively contribute to strengthening and consolidating ASEAN solidarity and central role in the regional security structure. In the coming time, the two sides will continue to effectively implement a number of key contents, including contact and exchange of delegations at all levels, consultation and dialogue mechanisms, education and training, cooperation in border management, and protection and UN peacekeeping operations. Concluding the dialogue, the two sides signed the minutes of the 5th Vietnam-Laos Defense Policy Dialogue. Later today, Senior Lieutenant General Hoàng Xuân Chiến, leading the delegation from the Vietnamese Ministry of National Defense, visited the military command of Luông Prabang Province. He noted that the Vietnamese Ministry of National Defense is ready to create favorable conditions for units of both sides to strengthen cooperation and tighten solidarity and mutual understanding, especially between the Luông Prabang Provincial Military Command and affiliated units under the Border Guard Command and Military Region 2 Command of Vietnam. To fulfill its missions of combat readiness, managing and protecting the airspace of the north and northeast of the fatherland, currently, Division 365 under the Air Defense Air Force is focusing on improving the quality of training, mastering weapons and equipment. The division's officers and soldiers strive for new achievements, creating the premise to build a strong and comprehensive unit. Division 365 has actively researched and improved training tools and models for training and combat readiness, with the motto of being easy to use and highly applicable. Training and testing equipment for Raider K-860 operators of Company 4 Artillery Regiment 228 is one of them. The device is made applying information technology to help operators easily absorb the content and accurately access the practical ability of the troops. This device helps the gunners capture targets suitable for combat practice as well as combat readiness missions, especially low-flying UAVs that suddenly infiltrate or those have diversified paths. This year, the missile force continues to improve the capabilities of the S-125 2TM air defense missile for fire detachments. In handling situations, fire detachment were trained from simple content, such as fighting single targets to large number of targets, that complex maneuvers, interference, and more complex situations. In 2025, we focus on training on one vehicle, one machine tactical teams, improving the mobility of weapons and technical equipment in all situations. Division 365 has closely coordinated with other forces to grasp the situation in key areas, while strictly maintaining order and combat readiness to protect the airspace. Air defense units regularly organize combat plan exercises focusing on training troops to master weapons and equipment. We have promoted democracy through experience sharing sessions for each unit. Thanks to that, everyone will promote their role and sense of responsibility to grasp new issues or what have not been discussed. With many practical measures in training and combat readiness, especially the application of new technology and techniques in training, Division 365 is striving to complete for higher achievements in 2025. Coming up next, localities of Vietnam and New Zealand promote ties. Efforts to build brands for MUONG ethnic cuisine. From March the 26th to April the 4th, 2025, a high-ranking delegation of Hanoi City, led by Deputy Secretary of the Hanoi Party Committee, Chairman of the Hanoi People's Council, Nguyễn Ngọc Tuấn, visited New Zealand and Australia. In New Zealand, the delegation worked with Mayor of Wellington City, Tory Wanell. The Vietnamese official expressed his hope that the Wellington City Authority would continue to support, cooperate and share experiences in long-term development planning and implementation of the city. He suggested that the two cities continue to increase the exchange of high-level delegations, expand cooperation in cultural industry, innovation and share experiences in the UNESCO Creative Cities Network. Mayor Tory Wanell affirmed that Wellington City is willing to cooperate and share experiences with Hanoi City on issues of mutual concern. In the coming time, the foreign affairs agencies of both sides will continue researching, reviewing and proposing cooperation contents to deepen the good relationship between the two cities. Meeting with businesses of the two countries, the Hanoi leader introduced potentials and strengths of some industries and priority areas for attracting investment in line with the general development trend. Hanoi welcomes and encourages foreign enterprises to increase their investment in the city, especially in green transformation, digital transformation, circular economy, climate change response, innovation associated with promoting the application and transfer of technology, especially high technology, green and clean technology. During their stay in Wellington, the delegation visited Vietnamese embassy in New Zealand. The embassy was asked to continue to be a bridge supporting the promotion of investment, trade, tourism, promoting the image of Hanoi to New Zealand businesses and investors. The logistics sector, especially air logistics, plays an important role in the development of the South African economy. In Vietnam, this area has potential to develop. In particular, air logistics only transport about 2% of the volume of import and export goods. That turns out to account for more than 25% of the total value. Recently, a working group of the Ministry of Industry and Trade of Vietnam had discussions with representatives of South African airlines such as Airlink, South African Airways, and experts in the field of aviation and logistics. Given the geographical location of South Africa and Vietnam, experts believe that there is ample room for aviation and logistics cooperation between Vietnam and South Africa, as well as other African countries. At the working sessions, representatives of South African airlines hoped that Vietnam and South Africa would soon reach trade agreements for the expansion of flight routes, thus opening up investment opportunities between the two sides. In recent years, Hòa Bình province has actively implemented the project on building Vietnamese culinary culture into a national brand launched by Vietnam Cuisine Culture Association. Many local dishes and drinks have entered the top of the most typical culinary dishes of Vietnam as a result. Vũ Bình Commune in Lạc Sơn District, Hòa Bình, is famous for sour meat, a traditional dish of the Muong ethnic people that is often served during their holidays and to welcome distinguished guests. The fatty, slightly sour taste of fermented pork, the nutty taste of corn powder, the aroma of soy seeds have made the typical flavor of Vũ Bình sour meat that is favored by customers. People from Muong ethnic community often make sour meat on their holidays. Now we continue to make this product, which has been favored by customers. To ensure food hygiene and safety, my family has invested in technology, in production, invested in machinery to create a better output. Currently, my family's sour meat is sold to Hanoi, Phú Thọ, Thanh Hóa, and other localities. The Muong Vang Lạc Sơn sour meat has a different and unique taste, which is the combination of pork, corn bran, soy seeds, and garlic. The aroma and mild spiciness of soy seed essential oil create Lạc Sơn sour meat unique flavor. We have finished related documents for the recognition of OCOP product from Muong Vang Lạc Sơn sour meat. Sour meat, a local product of Hòa Bình, has gained a foothold in the market. With the locals' efforts to preserve the traditional dishes and apply modern technology, Lạc Sơn sour meat and other local dishes of the Muong ethnic group here will further reach out to more markets. This is the end of the QPVN News today. Remember to watch our news again at qpvn.vn. Thank you for watching and goodbye for now.